Hello, it's Christine. I'm just checking in with you to see how you're doing. I'm glad you found me. If you are watching this video, it's probably because I've referred you to this video, or maybe you were just doing some searching and you found this. Regardless of the reason, I'm going to go through a list of positive coping strategies with you just because I know with all of this times of uncertainty and change, it's important that we are more intentional about bringing some stability to our lives. Most of us have had changes. We might not be able to get to work. We might be one of those populations that they're recommending we not leave our house much. So with all of the changes happening and all the worries about the coronavirus, it's helpful to control the things that you can control so you have some structure in your life. Even when things are changing around us, it can bring some sense of stability and control when things are feeling like they're uncontrollable right now. Here's a list of things that might be helpful, and if you want to write these down as we go, that's great. You can push the pause button to put this on pause, so you can grab a pen and pencil or paper or whatever you need to write. Otherwise, I will post this on the bottom in the comments section so you can find the resources that we're talking about today. The first thing on my list is making sure our needs are met. We can brainstorm a list of ideas with people around us to make a plan to take care of the necessities. Maybe it's time to make a grocery list so you can find one person in your family or that's able to get out to the grocery store to get the things that you need. Maybe you're still able to get out and about. Maybe it's a time where you might want to call or look online to see if you can put your order online or through the phone and then pick it up at the door. Regardless of that, if you are not able to get that on your own, reach out to family or friends to help you come up with a plan. There is also that number 211 that you can call if you have any questions. They have a list of the resources in your area. The 211 number gets you to United Way, and they're also prepared to talk with you about your worries if you wonder if you've been exposed and you just don't know what to do. They have the coronavirus information as well, as far as where to go and what to do if you're worried about that. So remember that 211. And there are lots of resources out there, and they're changing every day. Our county has a website that you can go to. Most counties do, that kind of updates you on the changes. But of course, go back to that 211 number if you just get stuck. Know that all we have to do is take one day at a time. It's important to plan ahead, but stay in today so you don't get too worried about the future, because things are going to be changing. Resources are going to become available. We'll just wait and see what happens, but just try to focus on one day at a time. The next thing is making a plan for your day, having some structure, even though your life may have changed, even though the kids are out of school and some businesses have closed, the parks have closed, the libraries have closed. Even though things are changing in our world, it's important for us to focus on things that we can control. Focusing on one day at a time, because our day is ours to manage. Our time is ours to manage. Just because we may not have the same schedule, we can still make a plan to keep our day positive and well balanced. We can be intentional about writing down a daily plan for our day to manage our time. We can make a list of things to stay busy and stay focused, and to focus on what we can control. There are many online templates, like for schedule ideas, if you're trying to entertain a child, if you're just trying to stay active. There's lots of ideas online. I'll go into that a little bit more in the next sections, but keeping our sleeping schedule the same, having a time where we're still eating our meals at the same time, to try to keep the same schedule as you had in the past is really helpful. When we're more stressed, we're less likely to remember to take care of ourselves. And just as important it is for you to charge your cell phone so it will work, it's important that you take care of you so you can manage during this time of change as well. Stress and worry, that's the next section. So during times of change, it's natural that we stress. It can be helpful to reduce our exposure to the stressors. Consider setting boundaries around your worries. For example, if you are tempted to sit and watch the TV and be updated on the coronavirus all day long, you can do that, but it's most likely that that's going to increase your stress. your body will interpret all of that stress as it needs to send out chemicals in your brain to speed up everything, to make you ready to fight or run or manage this big, scary thing that you're worried about. President Trump is calling it the invisible enemy. If you start to think about the coronavirus as an invisible enemy, your body is going to stay charged up and ready to fight or run or react to something that you don't need to make huge changes for. You can still manage your time and make your day the best day it can be without exposing yourself to that stress 24 hours a day. I would suggest making a plan to check in maybe 30 to 60 minutes a day, or less, or more if you want to stay more informed. But give it some limits. Don't let it take over your life. It is, in the duration of our entire life, this is a small thing that we're going to have to overcome. It's going to be life-changing, but think about it. It might be just a couple months of our lives. All of us have endured hardships that have caused changes in our lives. We all have resiliency skills to get through it. So think about setting boundaries so you're not going to watch the stressful things all the time. Find some time to turn the TV off and just exercise. Walk around your house. Take a step outside and just get some fresh air. When it's a sunny day, just get outside and get some sun. Our brain and our body needs as much of the normalcy as we can to continue on being healthy. So the next thing is, if you have trouble setting aside your worries, even after you've shut the TV off or after you've quit reading about the coronavirus, maybe set aside 5, 10, or 15 or 20 minutes where you just write your worries down. Think of starting like a worry notebook where you write down your worries. And all day long, when you think about what you're worried about, you tell yourself, I've already decided that I'm only going to worry at that time. Maybe you decide 6 o'clock at night is the only time you're going to worry, and you're going to set the timer for the designated amount, whatever you choose. So maybe say you're going to do 20 minutes that you're just going to allow yourself to worry at 6 p.m. All day long, when you think about your worries, you can remind yourself, I will have time to think about that during my worry time at 6 p.m. And then when 6 p.m. comes, pick up your pen or your computer, however you want to write down your worries. And then when the timer goes off, maybe think about giving it to God. Say a prayer. God, please take my worries from me right now, and I'll meet you again here at this spot tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and we'll pick it up where we left off. Or maybe you're just going to close that book up, just like you turn your TV off when the movie's done, and tell yourself, I'll look at my worries the next time I choose to, tomorrow at this same time. They'll still be there, but I don't want you to focus on your worries all day long. It's not healthy for you. The next thing you might want to do is get some information about your worries. For example, if you're worried about your finances, call that 211 number and get some ideas who you can call. If you're worried about what's going to happen with the changes at your work, put calls in. Ask for information. If you continue to hear we don't know and we won't know until we make a plan that something's going to change, you can just know that you're going to be informed as soon as your life changes. As soon as something changes, you will know, and you can make a plan there. Then, again, that's all about your resiliency. Think of how many times your life has changed in the past. You do have great resiliency skills to get through new things, and you're not alone. There are plenty of resources out there to help you, and most of us can reach out to friends to help talk through things. Think about, you're not alone. You're not going through this alone. Everyone else is going through it at the same time. It's helpful to talk about it. So reach out, get information, ask for help. The next one is role modeling and sharing your boundaries with your kids or your family or your friends. If you notice that they're having a lot of problems with their worries, suggest some of these same things to them. Role model to your kids. It's okay to worry, and there's a time to worry, but now isn't one of them. Talk about, we're going to write down our worries and we're going to make a plan for the day, and then we're going to shut the worry book away and we're going to stick with our plan. We're going to control what we can. The next thing is about Questions. This is a time where information is changing every day. Kids are asking questions. If you have kids asking you questions, think about answering just the questions that they have. Don't give them too much information. Kids under the age of 10 are pretty concrete. If you just say this is an illness that we're trying to get figured out, and in the meantime, we're just going to keep safe in our own home. We're going to take all the precautions that we need to, and we're going to get through this. And if they worry about things that are not theirs to worry about, you can just say, as the adults, we're going to take care of this. This is an adult problem. We always take care of you, and we always will. So if it's you yourself thinking, I'm so worried about the problems, remind yourself, I am resilient. I've gotten through problems before. I'm not alone. I do have support people I can talk to, and just count on reaching out to people when you need to. Stay focused on today. Don't get too far ahead. Think about just getting through each day, one day at a time. If we think I'm just going to continue to do the next right thing for today, it stops you from getting into that worry about the things that you cannot control. The next thing we've talked about a little bit is sleep. Adults need around 7 or 8 hours a night for sleep, and teenagers need more like 9 to 10, and younger kids oftentimes need more like 10 to 12. We talked about just because the schedules change doesn't mean you have to change your sleep schedule. You will do best if you stay on your same sleep schedule, which might mean within 1 to 2 hours of your same schedule, try to stay on. It's the healthiest for you. We all complain when we have the time change for daylight savings time, how long it takes to adjust to a different schedule. That's a pretty good example of we do best if we stick to a schedule. Sleep. Another thing about sleep is you should only be in your bedrooms during sleep times each night. It's healthiest to get outside of your bedroom so your brain knows the difference between day and night. Just because you don't have to go to school or work possibly doesn't mean you should stay in your bed all day. Your brain needs to know the difference between day and night so it knows when to shut down and go to sleep. If you stay in your room all day with the lights off and the blinds closed and you're in a dark space, you will have trouble sleeping. You will be tired all the time, and you will have trouble sleeping probably because you are sleeping too much. If your brain continues to know when it's daytime and when it's nighttime, it normally stays on this natural rhythm. So get out of your room, go do something different. Get sunlight so your brain knows when it's daytime. Think about shutting down the lights at the end of the day to prepare your body for bed at night if you're having trouble with sleep. It's helpful to do a routine for sleep like you normally do. Maybe think about if that's the time you like to take your bath or shower, do that. Maybe have some wind down time where you, I don't know, lay on the couch and rest. Maybe that's when you talk on the phone to kind of talk about the issues of the day with somebody else. Maybe somebody in your house is there that you can kind of wind down your day with, talk about things before you go to bed. Whatever your routine was, stick with those routines as much as you can. If you've never had a good nighttime routine, this is a really good time to be intentional about starting one. Just like when we're around little kids, we really work on giving them some structured routines so they know it's time for bed. Think about doing that for yourself as well. Your brain needs to know when it's time to rest and it's time to sleep. The next one is eating a balanced diet. It could be really easy to live during this time as if we're on vacation or on summer break or on a holiday break. It could be really easy to just start doing a lot of overeating. You will be the healthiest if you stick to your normal eating schedules, if you stick to your normal eating routines. Even when things are changed, think about keeping those set meal times. Think about maybe having scheduled snack times so you're not feeling like you need to eat all the time. A lot of us are emotional eaters, and this can be a time where this can be more problematic. So maybe set a schedule. When you make your schedule for the day, schedule in a meal times schedule, and maybe schedule in some snacks. Maybe make a list of healthy ideas. It might be helpful during this time where we're all worried about long term how it's going to go with groceries. Maybe it's helpful to take stock in what you have and maybe make a menu so you know you got today and tomorrow covered. I know I said stay in today, but face it, we're going to be thinking about our meal schedule for the week. So it's not a bad idea to maybe make a menu for the entire week, knowing what you have. This might help you make your lists when it is time to go to the grocery store so we don't have to go every day. We're supposed to be limiting our time outside of our houses, so it might help if you make a menu for your day. And think about eating healthy foods. Just like your body needs healthy foods for good health, your brain does too. Some of us, if we're not emotional eaters, we might be the kind of people who don't eat enough during this time when we're stressed. So this might also help you remember to eat. If you're worried about getting groceries, you might want to look for some online options. I know Walmart and Target both have where you can order online and pick up at the door. You can call them and let them know you're there, or I'm not sure how it works. I'm sure Hy-Vee probably has the same type of thing. Probably Fairway will be setting up something like this as well. Otherwise, there's, I don't know, DoorDash or Grubhub or some things I don't know much about, but you can look online to see if those are options to have food delivered to your house. The next thing on my list is exercise in moderation. Even though we're oftentimes having changes in our schedules, it's helpful to have some time where you get up and move around all day. Just like I talked about, some of us might be using this as, well, I'm just going to lay on the couch and watch TV all day long. That might be great for a day or two, but long term it's unhealthy for you. So 20 minutes a day of rigorous activity is really good and healthy for us for good health. It improves circulation. If you think about it, it improves getting all those nutrients and the oxygen to every part of our body. It's really healthy for us to get up and get some movement. There's lots of YouTube videos on exercise. Maybe this is a good time to start a new exercise. If you have more time at home, maybe this is a good time to start yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or kickboxing or whatever it is that you like to do. There's options for almost anything that you can think of on YouTube. They even have like 1-minute walk and talk videos where you talk with somebody else. They talk with you while you walk, and at the end of the video they'll say, if you walked with me in place, it's likely that you just walked 1 mile. That is a great way to get some exercise. However, if you get fresh air and sunshine at the same time, which is sometimes hard in Iowa, but if you can get out and get some fresh air and some sunshine, it's really good and healthy for your body as well. We need the nutrients that come from the sun and the fresh air. The next one is use your support systems. It's important to remember that we are not alone. There are many of us who have had changes in our schedules, and some of us will still have the same schedules, but most of us are having changes. Stay connected to other people in any means necessary. Consider reaching out to family or friends or support groups online, through the phone, through video chatting. There's lots of options. You can do Facebook, FaceTime. You can do a Messenger. They have a FaceTime. WhatsApp has video chatting. Snapchat has video chatting. There's lots of different options. You don't have to have the iPhone. Any kind of smartphone will work. If you need to just use the old-fashioned telephone, that is great as well. Many of us oftentimes prefer it so we don't feel like we have to get dressed up or do our hair or makeup or whatever that day also. So phone contacts are great too. If you feel like you don't have a support system, reach out to your churches. It's likely that they're going to be developing some kinds of systems where they can visit with you through the phone. Reach out until you find someone. Talking about our thoughts and feelings is helpful. It changes the chemicals in our brains. We all have this need to be heard and understood. So it's helpful to stay connected. It releases chemicals in our bodies that just make us feel good. Along those same lines, if you don't want to talk to people about your worries, don't fall into that stuff and blow mode of coping, meaning that you stuff all of your thoughts and feelings and needs, and just like you would air in a balloon. If we stuff it all in for so long, every once in a while we're just going to blow up, just like a balloon would pop, and we can't always control who gets it, and it might come out as anger or tears, but if you stuff it all the time, you eventually are just going to blow up. So think about journaling, blogging, or letter writing. For example, if you're angry at someone, instead of calling and yelling at them, write them a letter. Put in whatever you want, but don't send it. Do it just for you to get your thoughts and feelings out. It's healthy, and it can be a filter, because after you do the letter writing, you might have a better idea of what you would choose to say to them after you thought it through. Blogging is another safe way. There's a lot of anonymous blogging sites that you can get on. There's a lot of Facebook support groups as well. You can get out there and just have some conversations with people on Facebook. Look for whatever you're thinking about. If you struggle with depression, type in support groups for depression. If you struggle with anxiety, type in support groups for anxiety, support groups for PTSD, support groups for OCD, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Type it in, then most likely there's support groups for it. Next one is stay positive. Don't let the negatives take over. During this time, everybody that you talk to is going to talk about all the problems that this has all brought about and all the changes, and everybody's talking about their worries. That's okay. We need to be heard and understood, but there is a time where we need to just stay positive. Having a daily gratitude list. Think of the things that you are grateful for. Most of us have, if you're talking to me, you have a computer. Most of us have a home and have a place to be warm, and most of us have food to eat, and we have electronics, and we have TV. Think about what you are grateful for. Maybe you have somebody that you are home with that you can be around, or maybe you have somebody who is just a phone call away, or maybe you have a church community. This is a good time to reach out and find those communities for support. Stay positive. Recognize and minimize unhealthy situations. If there is somebody that you talk to that just gets you worked up, limit your time to them, just like we talk about a worry time. If you decide to call somebody and they stress you out, let them know right away at the beginning of the phone call, I only have a few minutes. Set boundaries around it so you don't have to stay on for a long time if you need to. And remember those exit strategies. You can always say, I've got to go. I need to go use the bathroom. I need to make another call. My phone is ringing, whatever it is. Use exit strategies if you need a break to walk away to think about what to do if you get overwhelmed. Avoiding negative influences. Like we talked about, some people might use this time as a time to increase celebration. Drinking or drugs might be a temptation right now. Think about reducing those. Alcohol is a depressant. Drugs only cause instability of the chemicals in our brain. We might feel good short time, but long term, it's negative. It will. The higher you get, the lower you fall. Most of us need to stay on that stable chemicals in our brain to keep us healthy. We need to find the stability in our life to stay healthy. So avoid negative people, places, and things. The next one is communicate effectively. Talk about problems to work on solutions, not to focus on the problems. If you are talking to somebody about the coronavirus and all the problems, talk about positive things. Don't stay focusing on the problem. Think about, what can we do to make the best of this? Work together to make lists. Share and communicate your structure, your schedules, your ideas, the websites that you find, the support groups that you find. Share those with other people. Focus on being solution focused, not problem focused. The other thing is don't jump to conclusions. A lot of times when we are stressed, we're most likely to not be thinking as clearly. So communication can cause some increased stress. We may make assumptions about what other people are meaning or what they're saying, or we might get online and read other people's posts and get all worried and upset about it. Think about just focusing on controlling what you can. Don't jump to conclusions. If somebody is writing about things that upset you, quit reading them. You might need to put a snooze on some friends if they're the doomsdayers that are talking about this is the end of the world. Snooze those people on social media so you don't have to look at that if it's upsetting to you. You get to control what you expose yourself to. If there's a lot of stuff online that's upsetting to you, find something else. The next thing on my list is become active in hobbies, games, or leisure activities. Make a list. You yourself, with your partner, with your family, with your children, whoever it is, make lists of things that make you happy. And then each time somebody's bored or feeling sad or depressed or stressed, you can go to that list and do something on that list. You can even make it fun. Think about putting paper or straws in a jar that you can pull out for ideas. Make it fun. This might be a time to start new hobbies, things like that. Do something every day that makes you laugh or smile. It changes the chemicals in your brain, so it's healthy for you. The next thing is walk away from stressors. Like we talked about, turning the channel, shutting the stress book, getting off social media. Limit yourself. Walk away from those stressors. Calm yourself down. Sometimes it's helpful to take a lifesaver or suck on a Jolly Rancher and tell yourself, I'm not going to respond until this is gone because I have a tendency to overreact because I'm a little bit stressed right now. And give your brain time to think through things before you're reacting to situations. So walk away and calm yourself down. Create distance from stressors. Some people will say it's unhealthy to sit and watch TV all day long. Of course it is. But you do need something that makes you happy. If playing a video game or watching a movie distracts you from your problems in life or from the worries that we can't control, those are positive, healthy things. Sometimes music, turning the TV and turning everything off and just dancing to music. Sometimes singing along, sometimes just listening, reading, playing games, cleaning, finding a list of things that you can do to get your mind off of your stressors. We all need something to look forward to. It's okay. This isn't a time to think about limiting all of our time to social media or electronics, because that is one of the things we have access to. So use it for the positives right now. This isn't going to last forever. This is a short time thing that we will get through. We've weathered many storms, and you will get through this. The next one is make time for yourself. Just like I talked before about making sure you're charging your cell phone, give yourself some me time. Take that long shower or that long bath, or take an extra nap sometimes if you need to. Walk away and get some alone time. Get outside and just sit in the sun if you need to. Even taking a walk in the cool, brisk air can help you just get a break from the stressors in your life. Taking medications as needed. Maybe call your doctor ahead of time and make sure you've got those prescriptions ahead of time and come up with a plan of how this is going to work if you do run out of medication and you're not able to get back into your doctor right away. Doctors are oftentimes giving extended prescriptions at this time, so make some calls and make some plans. Follow up with scheduled appointments. A lot of things are going to be canceled, but make sure you're keeping in contact with those agencies that you do have appointments with so you know when they are up and running again. So I guess the last thing I want to say just in closing is think about what helps you. Think about your positive coping strategies. We went through the whole list of them. Think about reaching out. Think about how good you are at helping other people talk through their problems. Allow them the same chance of helping you back. Reach out to others. Stay connected however you need to. And take care. And remember, this will not last forever, and we will get through it. Thanks. Good luck.